What up, YouTube? We're back in with another one. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. So I do have two YouTube channels. One of them is me being a little bit more hands-on, and this one is kind of my views on different things in life. But I finally got back around to making some footage on this one. I've been busy. This season, spring pops up, and then there's just so much stuff for me to do outside, and it just kind of keeps me really, really busy. And I just don't want you all to think that I've forgotten about you. So we're going to hop into the video right now. This one is called Men Should Be Like Steve Harvey. And I don't agree with that. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right here into this video, see what it's going to be all about. I did cut the beard off this spring, like I stated, being outside. It does not do well for wind. So I was roasting, so I look a little bit different. Don't have my hat on today, but we're going to jump right into this footage.
So do you have like a specific question you were asking, or because I just joined?
You gotta pay attention.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 20.
20?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, at 20, why do you follow my content?
Oh, because I recently just discovered you from on Instagram, and
Okay.
a lot of people don't really like your opinions on everything. But me, I agree with a lot of what you say, because even though I'm 20, I've been through a lot in relationship-wise. So I'm learning kind of early. So,
First things first, what I'm going to say is a lot of people really don't like the opinions. I think there's two things. Either she's speaking to all women and people don't like the tone that Kevin Samuels uses, or she's talking to a lot of beta men, because straight-forced, straight-laced alpha guys, the people who I talk to, we agree with a lot of what Kevin Samuels says. So this is part of my channel, why I enjoy doing what I'm doing, help with this whole man voice movement thing that we've got going on, letting it be known what men think. 90s, we had all that with all the music, all the TV shows that kind of bashed men and made men to seem to be trash. So here it is, your opportunity and men's opportunity to say a little bit more. So I like what Kevin Samuels is doing. So I'm not one of the ones who can sit here and say that the majority of the people don't like what he's saying. I would say some people don't like the tone, but it's similar to the tone that I typically use as well.
do agree with a lot of things that you say. Plus, I have older sisters, so I see what they go through. And
What don't people agree with or get mad about?
I see that people get mad when you tell them that they're not ready for what they want because of where they are in life, or the type of person that they are. They're not ready for what they want, or they're not going to get what they want because of how they
Do you think you think they're right, or do you think I'm right, or do you think neither person? Because
I feel like it really sometimes depends on the situation, but a lot of the people who I've seen join your live and ask their questions, I agree with you, because
Okay.
most people don't like the truth. And that's
Yes.
the kind of question. The question on the table tonight was, why are modern women so easily offended? And a big part of why women are offended is because the truth is offensive. But here's the funny thing.
So, not the biggest judge on anything, and I'm not a supermodel or anything like that, but let's just look at the video that we have here. So, things that people take offense to, or what Kevin typically says. Men are not a huge fan of all the fake lashes that she's wearing, all that, the nose ring, the baby hair and the glue with the wigs, but people don't seem to stop doing it. So a lot of guys will say something like, hey, I'm looking for a more naturalist, and a woman will want a real man, this, that, and the other, but yet they're a fabricated female. And once you wash your face and take a shower, or if you happen to let somebody get sick and be in the hospital, that's when you see what people look like. When they're not tending to makeup, hair starts growing, weave has to come out, lashes fall out. I mean, working in healthcare, I have seen the transformation people make from being in the hospital extended periods of time. But, that's kind of on an extreme end. On a not so extreme end, washing your face, you should not look like a different person when it's over. But people take offense to that. So if you tell somebody what you don't like or what men typically are not into, it's easier for people to convince you of what why you're wrong than it is to just understand this is not what men like. So having a daughter, that's something that I kind of want to instill in her. I have talked to my wife all the time and state how I don't want to raise like a snowflake. So I like to have somebody that I can be able to communicate with like I do my wife. So I want to raise my daughter in that kind of same aspect to where, women do, they do react a little bit more emotionally than men do. So I don't think it's right that a man has to come down to a woman's level and babyfy things. However, I don't expect that a woman needs to just be masculine and speak and take everything like a man. So that balance, you have to go. So just back into it.
Women who get offended by the truth are the biggest women who talk about they want to speak their truth, their point of view, and they don't want to deal with men who are liars. So I don't understand that. Did you have a question that you wanted to ask, because I'll bring somebody else in?
Oh, no. I really just wanted you to ask me something and answer, because I thought the question going on. But it was nice talking to you. Bye.
Thank you. A lot of women say, "My truth, my truth, my truth, my truth."
So your truth would just avoid all facts. So what you're doing is just going off what your personal experience is. So this is one of the things I do not like that people do. They take their personal experience and try to make it blank across everything else. Men do this. No. The men you've dealt with have done that. So there's an issue with maybe something that you're doing to attract these type of men. Now, I do speak to people all the time about relationships. Just people seem to want to come to me and talk about things and get a little bit of advice. I'm not a professional or anything like that. However, I do state that the common denominator in your relationships are you. And if you've dated 4 guys and 3 of them are narcissistic, what's the chances of that? Statistically, the amount of the population that's been diagnosed with narcissism is small. How did you get 3 out of a very, very small population? And if that is the case, you're not picking right, or the chances are you have some narcissistic personalities. And people get offended by that. But it's easier for me to tell a person the truth than it is to, I have a son as well, to have that whole expression that men are trash and they're narcissistic. No, because my son is not. And I don't want to put that on everybody else's son or everyone else's fathers or uncles. That's just not something I'm willing to do. So your truth is fine. Your personal experiences are fine. But if your personal experiences are different than kind of like the norm and something you don't like, maybe seek some therapy and do some changes within yourself to have a better outcome. Because if you've had 3 narcissistic relationships, figure out what you need to do to not have a 4th one or a 5th one instead of just continuing to blame it on the men.
I don't want to deal with a man who's a liar. Tell me the truth. All right. Then how can people who want men to be so honest be so deceptive? Because not being upfront, straightforward, and honest, if it was a man to a woman, would be considered deceptive. Well, ladies, aren't you being deceptive by not being upfront, straightforward, and honest with men? It's not like that, huh? It's not like that when it comes down to you. It's different.
I did talk to an associate relationships, and what she stated was she wants a relationship. She wants a guy to be direct and upfront, and she doesn't want any surprises. And I was like, for the most part, I kind of understand that. There's some information that you kind of get later. Like, I'm not going to just disclose my social to you and everything, but some of the basics you get out front, and then you just learn personalities. But then I asked her, you want all this honesty from a man. Have you figured out how to be able to tell the man that you're going to be dating about your criminal record that you have, or about what got you the criminal record, the use of hands? So a lot of men are not going to want to date a woman who is prone or okay or puts hands on people. So have you just figured out how you're going to explain that? Her answer was more or less, Well, I'm not going to tell them about that up front. We'll talk about that later on. Like, you don't disclose that kind of stuff. You talk about wanting to have family and kids. And I was like, now, hold on. Now, if you dated a dude and he didn't tell you that he had been in jail for a battery or putting hands on a woman, that'd be a problem if you didn't know that up front. But yet, you're just directly just going to say that this is not something you're going to disclose now. You want an upfront, direct man, but yet, how are you going to explain Hot Girl Summer? No. What you're going to do is want an upfront, direct man, be everything you want, and then the expectation is I'm just going to lie about my past to keep this guy. I just don't like how that works. It needs to be equal to an extent, but you can't have the rules that benefit you, as you know, and you want to stand with those, but you want to just push out all the other ones that benefit the men. That's the double standards. You can't like certain ones, but then dislike them because they're not in your favor.
It's different when it's a lady.
No, not really.
Can't be that way when it's a lady.
Yeah,
So
absolutely
what we're
can.
gonna do? We're gonna bring these three in. Oh, is this Otasia? Otasia, you back? Oh my God, that cannot be Otasia.
Hi, Tevin.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great.
All right, so we'll just go ahead and jump into this one in the next video. But first, only thing I just want to say about this little clip is being upfront, being honest is always a good thing. Just as far as this little section right here goes with Kevin, we did discuss or a little bit about how everybody does not have to agree, but it is good, in my opinion, for a man's voice to be heard. So back in the 90s, you didn't have any of this, and if anything did come about like this, it really jeopardized the man's money. So women, when I state that, what I mean is women were kind of praised to be able to get online and say whatever. The music was whatever. But if you got online and you did something like that with the music for as men, and if somebody can just put some songs down here that did happen, you know, men's music was kind of like catering to the woman, love making and intimacy and how beautiful she is. But some of the women's music was blatant, independent, no scrubs, you know, don't want no broke guys, stuff like that. Nobody living at home with their mom. So I think it's very important that we hear the man's side now. And now, since this can of worms has been opened, it's not going to be closed. I guess later on we're going to get to men just talk like Steve Harvey. However, this is just getting the ball rolling in the communication. All right, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and conclude this video, and we'll be starting back with the next one here soon. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. Hit that like button and subscribe.